honorable ministers on the dais, dignitaries on the dais, respected fellow teachers, principals, and people associated with the education community. It is indeed a pleasure and privilege for me to be here today to participate in, I think, what is very, very important, not only from the organizers' perspective, but from every one of them who are attending this particular gathering. The topic is on education. Education is extremely important. All of you have had the benefit of education, and all of you are here because of the benefit of that education. We are a country with 1.3 billion people. We have 1.4 million schools in this country. We have what they call as a demographic dividend, where the youth of our country, 70% of the youth, 70% of the population of our country is under 35 years old. We have what they call as a demographic dividend. We also have 640,000 higher secondary schools in this country. We have 10,500 plus engineering institutions and an equal number of educational institutions, college, business schools, and so on. We have a world which is changing rapidly because of technology. Technology is advancing at a very scorching pace, as all of you understand, and are witness to and are experiencing. The way you are experiencing the world is very different from the way the world was being experienced several years ago. And on an exponential manner, these experiences are changing because of technology. 3D printers are revolutionizing the way manufacturing is happening in the world. You are able to manufacture right in front of your eyes. You are able to design, you are able to prototype, you are able to conceptualize, you are able to manufacture a device right in front of your eyes, which is going to revolutionize the whole of manufacturing industry. Cloud services are enabling you to reach the remotest corners of the earth for whatever purposes you have, whether it is education, whether it is access of knowledge, whether it is marketing, whether it is communications, whether it is social media, whether it is to develop a business. Robotics is changing the way automation is being experienced in this world. It is driving automation to a completely different level. Augmented and virtual reality is changing the way you are able to experience the world that you do not know, and you cannot see, and you cannot reach, but which makes it reachable to you. Augmented and virtual reality is changing the way you can collaborate and teach and educate people. Advanced transportation systems are being created using sensor technologies, using high-speed technologies, to even put a man on the Mars or other planets. This is the world in which we are all living in. And we have 150 million youth of our country entering into the workplace over the next 5 to 10 years. How do we ensure that the education that we are giving today meets the expectations of these 150 million youth on whom this country of 1.3 billion is going to ride, on whom more than 7 billion people on the planet are going to depend on? How do you ensure that education is truly empowering and reaches across to not just the capable and the able, but also to the people who are deprived and disabled? Because every human being has enormous potential. As Swami Vivekananda said, all capability, all power is within you. It is up to you to be able to realize your potential. Are we making sure that every student in the workplace, every student going to a school, whether in the government or in the remote areas, is able to realize their true potential? We have had Ramanujam coming from the remote small town of Kumbakonam. We have had our own President Abdul Kalam coming from a remote town of Rameshwaram, where there was not more than one school, probably, one church, one temple, one mosque, maybe one institute of learning, higher learning. And from these remote places have come gigantic people who have been able to change the world, to change the country? How do we create thousands of Ramanujams and thousands of Abdul Kalams in this country which has no dearth of intellectual capability, which has no dearth of intellectual horsepower, where our students are second to none? How do we ensure that we harness this enormous potential innovatively through education? Because education is empowerment. Every one of you who have been educated have been empowered. And everybody who has been educated, their lives have changed for the better. There is not a single person in this world, nobody in this world, who has been educated and not done well. So are we all, you and I, participating in benefiting the hordes of young students who are deprived of education? If every one of you, we have 200 million people who are educated in this country, if every one of them takes upon themselves that they should help in the education of 4 more people, we will have more than 1 billion people automatically educated. Are we doing that? Are we thinking in those terms? Do we think we have an obligation to ensure that the youth of our country, especially the ones, not just our children, but the children who are not able to get the quality of education that is required, are we playing a role? And in this context, many of the things that the previous speaker said are very relevant. As Ms. Anju said, is it just creating machines? Is it creating rote learning people who are just interested in scoring marks? Or are we creating human beings who are capable of solving problems, who are able to live a quality life, who are able to contribute to a quality life? Are we creating machines who can memorize? Or should we be creating people who are innovating and solving problems? Because the human mind is capable of that. Every one of you, you and me, are capable of that. Are we ensuring that? That is where the Atal Innovation Mission has launched on a very ambitious initiative to create innovators out of our youth of our country, to create problem solvers, to create the next job creators. If we want 1.3 billion people of this country to be happy, to progress, to be economically progressing, as well as all the social needs of the country are being met, we need innovators from the youth of our country. And you and I have to participate in this revolution. So what are we doing to do all this? Firstly, at the school level, we are launching thousands of tinkering labs. These tinkering labs are dedicated innovation workspaces in every school. Students from grade 6 to grade 12 are being equipped with the latest of technologies like 3D printing, robotics, IoT devices, miniaturized electronics, augmented virtual reality, biometric kits. These are all do-it-yourself kits. Why do-it-yourself kits? Because you want to make education a fun thing to learn. Children tinker with these technologies. Children learn to play with them. Children enjoy the process of learning and seeing how these technologies can be used to solve problems. Today, 5,441 schools in the last 1 year have been identified to have Atal Tinkering Labs. 2,000 of them are already operational. Before the end of this financial year, all 5,000 will be operational. Schools from the remotest part of the country, there are 715 districts in this country, 650 of them are already equipped and covered with Atal Tinkering Labs. The remaining will be completed during this end of the financial year. What do the students do? They are presented with tinkering challenges. Tinkering challenges which are real challenges that they face in the community around them. We ask the children, go to the community, identify a problem, whether it is in healthcare, whether it is in smart mobility, whether it is in traffic management, whether it is in drinking water and sanitation, whether it is in waste management. Look at the problems around you, come back, identify a problem, solve that problem using this tinkering technology and tinkering labs. Create a prototype of a solution, become an innovator. The children are tremendously excited with all of this. Why? because it is no longer a chore. You don't have to go and mug up something. You don't have to do rote learning. You are actually experimenting. You are working with your hands. And as Mr. Ryan Pinto so effectively pointed out, action speaks louder than words. Just teaching is not good enough. Getting them to handle a prototype, to create an innovation, to create a solution, to feel that I have created this problem, I have solved this problem and created an innovation is a fantastic thing for every child's life. It will boost the morale, it will boost the psychology of the child like no other thing can. And therefore, these adult tinkering labs are a game changer in our educational system and needs to be embraced by all. In order to make it successful, we are roping in mentors of change across the country. We are requesting professional people, professionals like you, who have had the benefit of education to become mentors of change. We launched the Mentor India Network. More than 5,000 mentors registered their interest for voluntary mentoring. That's the sort of passion we need if we want to make this Global Education Summit and meet the objectives of that really happen. We need passionate mentors, people who feel they have to contribute back because they have had the joy of learning and benefiting from their educational system. We launched an Atal Tinkering Marathon last year in November. 40,000 students participated in this Atal Tinkering Marathon. 6,000 plus innovations were created. They were not ideas, they were prototypes of solutions. A Tinkering Marathon Day was held in every school, where the school community, along with the parents and the teachers and local judges, judged the best 10 innovations from each school. 600 of these innovations were submitted to Atal Innovation Mission. 100 of them got selected for recognition. And today, many corporates have adopted these students and these innovations for further training as innopreneurs for these youth of our country. You would be amazed to see the type of solutions that the students created, from grade 6 to grade 12. We are not talking about engineering students. I will come to that a little later. We are talking about school students. And one of the girl students from South India has created an IoT-based irrigation management device. Why? Because her father is a farmer, and he faces this problem every day when watering the field, and he finds there is insufficient water or that the water is excessively used. Another student from Sikkim has developed a robotic-based waste management system. A third student, a group of students from Gujarat, have created the first startup on smart mobility called Taurus. So we are having grade 9 and grade 10 students and grade 6 and grade 7 students actually creating innovations which are having the potential for startups. We are creating the problem solvers of tomorrow. We are creating the innovators of tomorrow. So this is the first intervention that the Atal Innovation Mission is doing. At the higher education level, we are setting up world-class incubators. Each incubator can foster 20 to 25 startups. These are being set up in universities, in institutions, in NGOs, in MSME industry, in the corporate industry, whoever has a good application. Up to 10 crores of funding is given by the government to set up a world-class incubator. Why do we need world-class incubators? We need world-class incubators because many startups die a premature death because of lack of proper support. Lack of proper support in business strategy, lack of proper access to a technology or research lab, lack of proper support in hiring, lack of proper support in venture capital funding. So because of all these reasons, a great idea dies a premature death. To avoid that and to make startups successful, these world-class incubators are being set up. Where are we on that journey? We have set up 101 incubators. 20 of them are operational. 80 of them will be operational before the end of next year. The third intervention that the Atal Innovation Mission is doing is to stimulate product innovations by the youth of our country. These are called Atal New India Challenges. 24 New India Challenges have been launched along with collaboration with the Ministries of Urban Housing and Development, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Ministry of Rail, and Ministry of Transportation. These challenges are to solve particular problems that would have great economic or social impact. And the winners of these challenges will also be given incubation support and startup support by the government. The fourth intervention that we are doing is to create Atal Small Business Innovation and Research Initiative, so that MSME industry will benefit, and the youth who are joining the MSME industry will be able to benefit. All of this leads to one important conclusion. Innovation is going to be the differentiator between nations. You all know that India has been progressing very rapidly on the Global Innovation Index. We are ranked at number 57. But with a country of our capability, we have the Satya Nadellas leading Microsoft. We have the Sundar Pichais leading Google. We have some of the best professors in Harvard and MIT and Stanford from India. When they have provided an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship, our country has blossomed, our people have blossomed in that ecosystem. The important thing is to create that ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship in India so that we'll have thousands of Abdul Kalams bloom, thousands of Satya Nadellas bloom. We have 10.4, like I said, 10.4 million, 1.4 million schools. We have 10,500 engineering institutions. Imagine the intellectual power that is available to us, and if we don't give them the opportunity of, through education, through proper empowering education, through empathetic education, through making sure whether it is girls or boys, whether it is disabled or the able, they all get the benefit of education, because today technology has become a great leveler. And with technology, everybody is capable of getting the education that they want. And so it is imperative that you and I participate in this journey. Thank you very much.